I really feel like this cable used to be longer, but I might just be completely tripping. Hi, hello, and welcome back. Welcome to another Onkruid video where, for the first time in forever, I am not too lazy to stand up anymore, and I'll be walking around again so that you can hear the nice ASMR sound of my bare feet touching the ground and kind of sticking to it a little bit when lifting them up. Hold up. Yeah, that's that good shit. Scriptless video, PowerPointless video, but it is about a book. It's about The Naked Therapist, de naakte therapeut in Dutch, by Peter Rober. Peter Rober, whatever you want to call him. He is a professor, he is an educator, he is a psychotherapist in the systemic branch, so all about dealing with families, trying to help out parents, trying to help out relationships. All in all, therapy that takes into account the context. Every therapy should of course do that, but this guy and his school of therapy is specifically focused on that and on the different dynamics that can happen in such a system. Whether the system is closed, whether the system is open, positive feedback loops within the systems, different relationships within the system. Mother to father, father to mother, mother to child, father to child, child to child too. Just a whole bunch of things to take into account. I do believe it's one of the most complicated forms of therapy, and I have mad respect for people practicing it. I just quickly wanted to say some words about this book because it left an amazing impression on me. It is jam-packed with honesty, with brutal honesty. It is a book that has really changed. No, not necessarily changed. It has kind of strengthened the views that I already had about my own job as a clinical psychologist. About how sometimes it's okay to just not know what the fuck is going on and what we can do or what we're supposed to do. How sometimes you are just so confronted with like the atrocities that people can commit to each other that you can't do anything else but lean back and kind of sigh and be like, that shit's heavy. Also about the self-doubts that you have in our job, the imposter syndrome, the feeling that you want to help everybody but you can't help everybody. How being a therapist is kind of something that shapes your identity as a whole and you can't escape that. How different the meanings and opinions are of people in the same work field, the same field of work, that work on the same topics. People that think psychiatry is the best thing to ever happen to psychology, people that think that we should get rid of psychiatry altogether and we are reliant on medication to a much too large extent, you know? There's so many different opinions and this book kind of encapsulates them all. The opinions proposed in this book are mainly like from the client-centered domain, I feel like, or they lie in line with the client-centered domain. But more than that, they lie exactly in line with what I think, with how I think. And it's a book that I have already recommended to everybody I know that works in the same field, and I've already sent some chapters from it to clients as well. Chapters about, for example, how it feels as a male caregiver, as a male therapist, to have a female in front of you that is talking about sexual abuse that was committed to her by another person of the same gender as you, and how you feel powerless, how you feel ashamed for your entire sex, for the entire group of people that also has the same male genitalia dangling between their legs, you know? How you feel like you have to make up for the behavior of one of those persons, even though it's not your fault, but you still feel like it's your fault. You feel guilt, you feel shame, you feel bad. You want to just pat her or him on the back and say like, no, we're not all like this, not every male person has bad intentions, but it feels so rough and difficult to deal with. It's one of my favorite chapters from the book. Another one that I sent to a client. It's a client I have been seeing for a couple of months already, since the start of February, a high school student. A lot to do about relationships in his life, about a difficult relationship with a girl at his school, kind of transformed a little bit into some obsessive behaviors toward her as well, but now he is finally like really letting go, getting over it, putting himself back out on the market, and I'm very proud of him. And now what his question for me has evolved into is like, I love thinking and talking about some of the difficult subjects in life, for example, existential themes. And that's exactly why I sent him another chapter from the book about a pair of parents, a couple of parents that lost their son to cancer, their very young son. And the mom cries in a session and she tells the therapist, I just want to die because I want to feel closer to him. I want to be close to him again. I want to be with him again. Heavy shit, very much related to both relatedness or connection as an existential given in terms of Yalom's existential given, but also death and loss. Transcending from this world into a higher zone, into a higher location, into a higher sphere where you hope to find your son again. Clinging to belief in the afterlife and to faith, things like Christianity and stuff, believing in God, just to make sense of things that completely cut your worldview in half and make everything crumble down, like the loss of a child to disease. It makes you doubt whether life really has meaning and whether there is a God out there. And some people cope with that by saying like, yes, there is a God. He probably has great intentions for this. There is a heaven, there is an afterlife. I want to get there. I want to meet my son again. Heavy material. He reacted to it in a very beautiful way. He told me like, you know, I'm a bit agnostic or atheist myself, but I definitely feel like I understand that woman, how she can cling to that belief system just to make sense of the senselessness that she has been encountered with. That's exactly my opinion, exactly the author's opinion. It's not based on true stories throughout the entire book, but you definitely feel like, yeah, there's a lot of truth in here. Probably it's kind of thickened a bit, it's kind of exaggerated a bit for reading pleasure, for sensation, maybe a little bit, but it contains a core of actual truth and a core of that brutal honesty. Perfect summary of the book, I think. Brutal honesty. Read it if you want to be confronted with all of the things that you normally don't talk about, that you don't hear anyone talk about, and that therapists don't like to talk about either. For example, also, the final remark I will give about the book, beautiful openness about erotic feelings in therapy, about sexual feelings towards clients or from clients towards therapists. It's a topic that is rarely talked about, but it's something that you need to keep in mind. It's something that can happen, that you just cannot rule out. We are all human. We all have genitalia. Almost all of us have genitalia. And I mean, our biological systems can sometimes just produce hormones that make us feel attracted to someone. It can happen. Learn how to deal with it. And this is not a book about learning how to be a better therapist or learning how to do therapy in a better sense, but it is a book that makes you aware of some of the domains you could be exploring how to be a better therapist in. Brutal honesty. A must read in my opinion. Even though it's 20 years old already, it still holds up beautifully. One of the best books I've definitely ever read. Thanks a lot for watching. Hope to see you in the next one. Bye bye.